Okay, let's go. Our stream is a streaming. We are recording. Audio levels look fine. And how's everyone's day going? Howdy, howdy. Let me make sure I get the camera plugged back in. That way. Okay, it shouldn't overheat. It took about 2.5 hours, 3 hours last time for it to overheat. Um, so happy Saturday. How's everyone's weekends going? It's a little bit of a rainy day here in Colorado. Been a little rainy in general. Um, but, you know, I was a homebuddy today, working on getting some projects going, including this stream, and had to deal with some technical difficulties, but it looks like things are fine now. I'm gonna have to figure out later how to switch over some things and how to share with my start Q&A, start poll. And then is there a way to pop out chat? Pop out chat. Okay. I'm not expecting, we'll see. My previous strategy was to use Restream. We're gonna pause our music. Yeah, our original plan was to use Restream to send it to multiple platforms, use their chat to look all of it at once. But I just spent probably close to 25 minutes, half hour. It wasn't pushing to all the channels and trying to figure that out. That, hey, I guess we'll just go to YouTube. We'll probably see less engagement that way, but a lot of this is still for the content. And if I'm here for both like using content to help bring knowledge and create community and working on things live, showing up as my authentic self, and caring about, having that good impact with some of my time, that we can still work with things to reach people. So that's what we're up to on this June 3rd day. Welcome to June. It was actually a pretty day today, even though it was rainy. It's kind of nice that we're not in like running the AC every day yet. Because the heat can get debilitating, and like I enjoy a good Sunday, fun day, pool day, and I need to be like getting more nature outdoor time in, more casual, just like hanging out away from technology, like 100%. I've been doing a lot of work lately, as well as not. It's been a lot of rainy, so I guess there hasn't been a lot of days to try to do that. I did get one in recently, and it was a really nice day to not, like, I was productive earlier, and then I met up with friends, and then barbecue. That was Memorial Day barbecue, and had a nice Sunday, like at a pool. Um, and I was in bed early that night, like 11, early for me. I didn't get too much done in the evening, and I'm probably like an overworker. Like, when I'm not sure what to do with my time, I tend to figure out and fill blocks of time with work or volunteer activism, which is just unpaid work, for good causes. But uh, so yeah, I mean, it's a good live reflection to have, is wanting to take more time for nature and days off. Um, and also playing in that middle ground area of things that are like work but are also fun, or they're alongside others and they're not stressful necessarily. Um, those are win-wins. Win-win-wins. So welcome to the stream. Welcome to the recording if you're watching later. My name is Braden Miguel. I'm the founder and chief executive officer. Chief creative cartographer is kind of more of what I like to say, but I am the person in charge, El Presidente, um, of a positive impact media and innovation company called Community Driven Group. This is our YouTube channel. This is our stream. We like to play around with things. How can we design systems? How can we cover important news topics or share educational topics in a way that reverberates and reaches more people? How can we put up the metaphoric bat signal occasionally on um, important topics, and then work with the community, you all in the chat or comments later, and skilled experts over time to come up with some creative solutions to things that have a lot of potential. I have a little bit of a stream plan for today where we're covering different mental health articles that I have bookmarked over the last month or so. I'm always kind of like just like a little bit late, like stylishly late to things, as some people might say. And so I wanted to share some things I saw around Mental Health Awareness Month, and that is a topic that like I'm still in a journey of going through, of like figuring out like the best ways to like get through some of my hard days, or like that continual push for to be better grounded and present and like healthy. So we're gonna do a little bit of that. There's some graphic design things we're gonna bust out really quick, and then we'll hop into announcements a few times, and then one surprise in here, yada yada. So yeah, let's run through it. The first thing we need to do, or we want to do, is create an overlay. So let's get graphical. And I should be able to click like this. So this is a shared screen, and I have this other overlay, but it's made for me to be on the other side. And with my new setup with the camera and how I have it structured, I wanted to just reverse it really quick. So we're gonna move this. We're gonna move this here. maybe something like this. We'll leave it like that for now. And then I will be me. Ooh, question of the week and subscriber goals. We're gonna leave subscriber goals. Let's do duplicate. Here, actually. Okay, duplicate. There we go. I get to be in the corner. And we'll do question of the week. Ooh, I didn't think about this. What is the question of the week? What is your favorite month of the year? Ooh, that's in all caps. When did I click that? Or should I do something related to the topics today? What is your favorite month of the year and why? And then normally I want chat to fit in here a little bit. And we'll go a little chat. Okay. I almost want to like do it like this. I wonder if that fits. Well, I'm messing around in the future. I want to like leave room where I can do like co-hosted events. And then I think it'd be really cool to then you can have like a little showcase section. But maybe at that point, just use a different template. And maybe I'll bring back the subscriber goals too. But we will download this for our overlay, and I think it'll work and fit. Okay. Overlay, right camera. Overlay, right camera. Okay. Ta-da. Ooh, transparent background. Rookie mistake. Going too quick and missing an important. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Ta-da! Perfect. All right. Cool. So we built that overlay, and now we're ready to jump into things. So let's see really quickly. I want to build into it a way to do agenda. And that question of the week is very blocky. I can do agenda this way though, can't I? Text, agenda. Okay. Text is agenda. Under it, we have announcements. And we'll put a little arrow. And then we have a mental health articles. And then we have articles. We have a break planned, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna do a little bit more design work. I believe I'll still have the energy, even though I'm a little bit behind my initial trajectory. Alignment. Perfect. Do I gotta stay on like select color? Okay. Neon pink. Text transform. No, we just do that. Okay. Okay. We're gonna do this. And once we're done here, we can move on to the next thing. We're just gonna put the title agenda there. And then I can have the rest of it be in the chat thing. So we're gonna go download this one more time. Ooh. Bada bada ding dong. Ooh ooh ooh. Dun dun. It wanna be what? Ooh ooh ooh. Bing. Rita woo. Da da do 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 do. Da 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 da. Do 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 do. Wait, yeah, that one. And then agenda is in there, and then now I just have to do I can take this out. Quick overlay. What was that quick? That was probably still like 15 minutes, wasn't it? Okay. Ooh. Can I make this bold? Okay. Okay. Announcements. Welcome to announcements. What announcements do I have? Good question. Welcome to announcements. Okay, so I think I have 3-ish main announcements. Let's see. We have our upcoming environmental upcoming people versus fossil fuels stream. I think its actual official name is End the Era Coverage. Comma people versus fossil fuels, and then what else? We have the voting in June. Okay, voting. Where's I put voting? For and then there's some environmental actions next weekend. What's on my plate? Any other big announcements? I don't think so. Nothing I'm ready to announce yet. I'm looking at potentially doing some stuff for my birthday, which is the July 8th. Potentially doing something around then. There's the event I'm working on for September, and then another thing cooking up for later this year. I need to do this as a personal stream, but I have a little pink booklet that I like to take notes in. It fits in my pocket. It fits in my fanny pack. And I have some journals in there that are like closer and more dear to my heart, or like when I need to get something down. And one of the first things I put in there were goals for 2023 back at the start of the year. And so one of my goals was around putting on, I want to say 8 events. And as I, that goal, I've put on events before, but in my head, I also want them to be cool and novel in some way. And so, in like helping showcase the kind of cool ideas that I think can both bring people together and make a difference. But I guess the birthday, that might just be for fun. So some things are in the works, but the big two are around upcoming stream. I have a graphic. Let me find said graphic. And I need to resize it into a different one. I'll do that later. And then let me get the other thing ready to show you as well. Okay. Okay. Let's put on some pop music. Some free music, pop music, some inspirational pop to go with our announcements. So, I want something fun and up-tempo. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So, we have our first upcoming announcement and event for Sunday, June 11th. If you check out our social media, you can find out more in RSVP. The link's also on our link tree. It will be on our link tree. But we'll get really quick. I'll give you the overview. There's a number of actions happening statewide, nationwide in the environmental movement. I thought, even in like the Denver, Colorado area, there's a bunch of different meetup events, action events, art events, and I thought I could bring my talents to help show up and take pictures at some of those events and talk to some of the people, and then get some of that stuff together and go through the internet, see what some of the national groups did, some of what the asks are, and cover this growing environmental movement and push to transition from fossil fuels, and do it quicker than the like 30 years, let's get it done by 2050. Like, the world's already heating up and pollution is getting bad and already affects families everywhere. So let's not wait as much. That's what the science says. We shouldn't wait as much. And I'm going to help cover that on Sunday, June 11th, 2:30 to 4:30. It'll be live streamed online. Here on our YouTube channel will be the major place where we will have that footage and coverage that day, and then afterwards as well. So that's our number one big announcement, and you'll be seeing posts on our social media in the days to come. The other one, and I've made a few videos about this as well, is a friend and I, Katessa, are working on an event proposal. And so Denver Startup Week would be an awesome place to showcase this event. They do, for that week, open submissions, and part of that is voting. And so I have these videos showcasing exactly what you do, but really it's like one link, and then it takes you to our page, Denver Startup Week, this regenerative models link. But if you just come to our YouTube page, if you go over to our shorts, where I was at just a second ago, help us get our event into Denver Startup Week. Hello? Okay. But business models that are regenerative. Let's do that one more time. Back in this reciprocal and we wanted to provide value and fun to that with an event called Regenerative Models, a part runway and showcase of not just secondhand clothes, but business models that are regenerative and help give back in this reciprocal positive way. I'm going to walk through really quickly, and really just a link, how to vote. If you click on that, you can learn more about our session, and it's in our link tree. You can click vote for this session. Now, you're going to need to either sign in like I have, or you'll need to sign up. But with just a few links that are necessary, it'll be a quick to sign in and be able to vote for ours or some of the other sessions as well. I have this video on Instagram, and I added music to it. If interested, and I think it does help a lot. If you're someone here just wanting to support our event idea and think it's cool to bring it to this community, it could be a fun time. We thank you as well. See you there. And thanks for your time. And thank you. And we wanted to provide value and fun to that. Cool. That was one of the things I was doing earlier today, because I was like, let me get this done before the stream. And I was actually able to get it done 30 or so minutes from the 3-minute video, and then getting it to shorter, and then getting it to a few different platforms to share it on. Probably that whole process, maybe it was more like 45 minutes. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That was our 11th short. Cool. So those are our announcements, and then we can move our little arrow on our agenda to mental health articles. So let me pull them up. Give me a moment. Give me a moment, me chats. Me's chats. We'll play this music song called Hey. Well, I destroyed both of our ears. Okay, sheesh. Sheesh, 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 sheesh. Why is music so loud? Okay. Hey, hey. Got up. It was a Saturday. Getting all day when it come to play, but it's raining outside and I've got work to do 'cause I really don't get time off with the stress and the hustle and the bustle. I'm over here just singing my songs. Okay, where is my bookmark bar? Yada yada. Let me pull up these articles. Okay. I just gotta order them. This isn't one, right? Yo, over here on the track, come on, bring it back, bring a beat, bring it back. 'Cause you don't gotta go when you gotta hit pinata on the floor. Cover your eyes and tell me what you know. So you hit it with the thing and the candy go, hey, candy for ya, candy for ya. Okay, I have that one. So let's go like this. And I wonder if I can pull up. We'll pull up his channel. I'm assuming that's where everyone finds him. Da 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 da. Okay. Okay. so loud. Okay, my bad. We can bring it down for you guys at least. And I'm also probably just like extra sensitive right now because I'm trying to manage multiple things. So, but I like it more than the silence. I think as things become more comfortable in this streaming process, and I'm like more comfortable with the tools, it'll be easier for me to like not be as sensitive there. Okay. Just gotta make sure nothing like plays. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, everyone. We're about to go through 5 different articles and shares that I grabbed as part of seeing what was out there for Mental Health Awareness Month. Super important subject, and I am not necessarily an expert in the field, but there are a lot of things that I've seen that have helped me along in my journey, and I know it's a super important part of life and something that a lot of people struggle with. So I try to bring extra attention and share and broadcast out certain things. I know long term it's something that I want to have more robust guides and coverage of on our website. For now though, we're just going to document and showcase some of the things that we see or that I've bookmarked, and we're going to go through them together. So the first one is, this one is a Time article, why waking up earlier isn't necessarily better. So a favorite trope of sleep research, and I'm someone who leans more towards night owl. It's harder for me to get up earlier and my body is more lagging. I think that's because if that was more of my normal, it'd be more in tune with some of like aspects of my body. But generally, if I just go to sleep sometime 9 hours later, if an alarm's not involved, I'll wake up. But there's always this thing about like, is waking up earlier necessarily better? So yeah, a favorite trope is divide the entire human population into 2 cute feathered categories: early birds, also called larks, and night owls. Often these studies link popular natural sleep patterns called their chronotype. Sometimes there's like other ones in there with like lion and like bear. I've seen those come through my like Facebook processes, and I did a sleep training, at least like the first week of it, where they break down certain chronotypes. It doesn't take long to see which team more often comes out on top. It's the one that catches the worm. Hint, hint. Research says that early birds are happier, more punctual, do better in school, and share more conservative morals. Interesting. Night owls are more impulsive, angry, and like to become cyberbullies. They have shoddier diets and, most critically, are worse at kicking soccer balls. Interesting. But can they really be categorized so neatly? Is the research painting an incomplete or overly moralistic picture? Takes a fresh look at the long-established link between early riser and being conscious by examining a separate but potentially important variable that might underlie the link: being religious. The people who woke up earlier tended to score higher on all dimensions of religiosity, leading them to conclude that being religious could help overexplain why early risers are more conscientious and more satisfied overall. Morningness might closely align with godliness, in part because certain religions practice early morning prayer, so religion can be drawing a link between rising early and being conscientious. Religion, of course, is just one under-examined variable. that may contributing. This is not where I thought this article was going to go. I thought no. I think it gets to it eventually. I think I scanned through this earlier to see the conclusions before I bookmarked it. In reality, chronotype is more of a continuous type of variable, a sleep research and associate deem. It exists on a spectrum. Not everyone is always one or the other, but so much research uses this binary classification because people are usually able to self-identify that way. The bias that people who rise early are morally superior to evening people doesn't just loom large in scientific research, it's at the very heart of U.S.'s founding principles of industry and hard work, says Declan Gilma, a PhD student at the University of Connecticut who studied workplace psychology. So if someone gets up at 6 a.m. and they show up to work early, they're viewed potentially as more committed. For his thesis, requests for accommodatable schedule, people acting as managers rarely treated chronotypes related scheduling requests, like asking to start and end the workday later when such a schedule didn't interfere with meetings, as legitimate. And when night owl employees made such requests, they viewed them much more negatively, even when they were just as productive as the early birds. So other research published that people perceive night owls as significantly more lazy, unhealthy, undisciplined, immature, creative, and young. La da la da. It's far from fixed, though it does have biological and genetic roots, and doesn't vary from month to month or season to season. We know age is really important in that it can shift your chronotype as you get older, which means that research needs to control for things like age. Trying to identify the genes that are more tightly linked. Perhaps the most important reason not to rely heavily on research is that the aspect of your personality, they're supposedly linked to your chronotype change throughout the day. Very few chronotype studies include information about the time of day during research was conducted, so that seemingly simple factor can change data a fair bit. So if you do the data at night versus the morning, it will matter for your chronotypes. Even when it comes to sleep preferences, interesting. That's not. I thought I saw something else on this. That's interesting. Okay, that's. What are my conclusions here? Chronotypes can change. The spectrum. I think it's hard to control for a bunch of different variables. And even if productivity is the same, people still have their biases of which they hold. So if you're not an early bird, you have to push against that still. Yeah, I think it fluctuates for me. I'm never ever a super early person. Sometimes I try to be, but I've never quite made it a good habit unless I had a recurring class early. Um, okay, on to the next article. Can I just rest? Guilt, the 4-day working week, and what to do with the 5th day. So, some countries, and I'm sure they'll share about this. I think it's France and then one other Nordic country have 4-day work weeks. A few cities have done trials and companies have done trials, and it turns out that a lot of typical what we understand as work time isn't necessarily our main prerogative. It is fluff and social and transitioning between doing different things often takes a lot of time. Some places there could be a lot of like energy just to get into something. Um, and a lot can be done with like a focused creative block that doesn't necessarily need as much time as the job, like when the job description was read out. If you can get done in less time, like why not reclaim some rest? um, so that is my background going into this article, and let's see if that changes at all. This is an article by The Guardian and Selena Ribeiro. Okay. As support for the 4-day working week grows, we wrestle with culture of achievement and busyness and feelings of guilt and accountability. The clatter and clamor of the morning is gone. The pace of bare cups, cereal bowls stacked, the sound of my footsteps down the hallway. Everyone's gone off to work, off to school except me. I work a 4-day work week, and today's my 5th day, the day of not work. So what do I do now? Around the world, the 4-day work is inching towards grasping distance. For many, I am living the work-life balance dream, living in some imminent utopian future in which, in return for decades of increasing productivity for relatively little increases in pay, and she's sourcing it there, in light of the global epidemic of stress, the 4-day work week becomes the next great shift in the way we structure work and leisure. This is okay, says economists and employers, because actual productivity does not decline when workplaces shift. And from this side, I report, it's good. It really is, but it's complicated. Because the 5th day opens up, one starts to feel the weight of its infinite potential, and the questions start to pile up. What will you achieve on that 5th day? Can you just justify a non-work on a weekday? Can you stop work seeping to that day? Or can I just rest? I feel that sometimes as like an entrepreneur and like being my own boss is I like letting the work seep in, and even though I could take multiple days off, not taking them, even sometimes when I am like burnt out and I'm taking like half a weekend. So maybe let's see what insights this has. Until February, I worked a 4-day week to accommodate childcare. My 5th day was work, caregiving work. I didn't view the day as work, not really. But assigning it that word made it easier to explain why I was avoiding work on that day. As my youngest child prepared to start school, I was talking with a friend. She too worked a 4-day week. What I do with the work. Without caregiving work to justify it, an additional day off felt somehow wrong, selfish, and unproductive. Not so long ago, being able to pursue or enjoy leisure for its own sake was a marker of your elevated place in hierarchy. Now our busyness, the demands on our time, writes sociologist, has become a key signifier of social status. Yeah, and especially in like some online cultures and like industries. I don't think most people like that. They just accept it as part of climbing the corporate ladder and or staying in it. Where in many religions periods of rest are dictated, and ancient Greek philosophers extolled leisure and freedom as the key to a virtuous life. Today we have come to suffer not so much from the delusion of the love of our work, but rather the belief that our working selves are our definite selves. 8 years ago, philosopher Bertrand Russell, in calling for a 4-hour working day, suggested a great deal of harm is being done in the modeled world by belief in the virtuousness of work. In praise of Artemis, I wonder if what kind of facts he sorts. That's it. Article for another day. And nearly a century of rapid technological and social advances and the workification of leisure, and we arrive at a point where, as writers Jenny Odell put it in a 2017 speech, which kicked off a genre about rest, it's possible to understand the practice. Where I lost myself. The practice of doing nothing solely as a self-indulgent luxury. So with some trepidation, privilege, and shame that I applied to my friend, no, I think I'm going to keep that day. Okay, how much longer is this? Okay. In Belgium, 2019, women's organizations flipped its staff onto a 4-day women's organization. Women's, okay. At the outset, the female workforce was hopeful. More than 4 in 5 wished to prioritize personal time and 60% more time with loved ones and to live healthier. Just over 2 in 5 said they found more time for themselves, and 25% reported feeling like they had more time with their partner. The time freed up from doing less paid work was, the study found, mostly was spent on household work. But if you get the household work done on Friday, then you don't have to do it on Saturday or Sunday. So it just, this is not to say that unpaid work hours made up for paid. The total working hours of these women decreased. Employees did experience less household stress, less leisure time pressure, and better work-life balance. The report found that by reducing working hours, the chances of work invading family life decreased. Once I decided to keep to a 4-day week, what followed was a continuous mental calculus as how that diet might work. My greatest fear was that the day might disappear in housework, like the Belgians. The Belgians have it and then they get taken away, or somehow in 1,000 tiny pieces of inconsequential busyness. I feared I would not rest, and I feared I might rest too much. That's an interesting dichotomy. I would steadfastly not work. Take no calls, check no emails, but I could not escape the feeling that I must be accountable for that time. The idea of rest came with a specter of guilt. A 2019 study, the Rest Test, led by psychologist and BBC radio presenter, found that for many the people, the prospect of resting was associated with anxiety and guilt. What have I learned about anxiety lately? Okay. And so, I plan my day with precision. In the morning, as I return to an empty house, I embark at least 2 hours and no more than 2 hours and 45 minutes of housework. It is precise. I set alarms. I do stuff. The floor gleams. This is my insurance against guilt. At no later than midday, I stop. I have drawn a box around in a time. In the middle of the day, as if by thick felt text. What? This is my time for no purpose other than my enjoyment of it. I leave the house, and from exactly 12:15 p.m. to 1:15 p.m., I go to an exercise class. Nice. That I love. Nice. That hour cannot be broken apart or given to anyone or anything else. In this, it is rest. This is my insurance against resentment. It's amorphous time from one. From 1:15 p.m. until the school day ends is amorphous time. I haven't quite figured out what to do with it or who it belongs to. My day began with 12 things on my to-do list and ends with 9. I listened to 3 great podcasts. At my local cafe, I've read one fascinating long article and, unhurried, stared out into the middle distance without guilt. The day is not magical, but as it ends, I feel somewhat lighter, less stressed. I feel grateful. I feel ready for work. Lodo. Do you have it on Monday then? Experience in evangelism. Come amid a flurry of books. Here are the books. Why we need to transform. These are Work Less, Do More. It's a recent one. Maybe I'll get one of these onto my list. Work Less, Do More sounds pretty nice. I'm down. The running theme is a preoccupation with time in society where many feel we have not enough of it. Grappling with rest and leisure in a culture which views low productivity as both an economic and an individual failing, and perhaps a fallout from a pandemic in which many of us, time slowed, work morphed, technology marched, and we had to face the question of what it is we actually value. There's an era of movement about in these books, a sense of reclaiming our rights to be lazy, and this was first floated in 1883 and largely ignored ever since. Or at least freed from the need to be both productive and demonstrate that productivity. We must work to seize and redistribute the wealth that is time, writes Lemming. When we have done that, we must commit to the work of giving it all back to each other. Oh, that's nice. Demands for more time away from work have been successful. Great shifts in the way we order and work leisure time. When electric lights kept shop workers laboring longer than before, the early closing movement demanded a reduction to a 12-hour working day. As industrialization increased productivity in Australia, workers ultimately activated and achieved an 8-hour day, 5-day week, claiming that more time for leisure would enable workers to improve their social and moral condition and be better fathers, husbands, and citizens. Technology has driven more productivity out of workers. Now it's their right to reclaim. In 1932, Bertrand Russell wrote, "Here it's so. We have continued to be as energetic as we were before there were machines. In this we have been foolish. But there is no reason to go on being foolish forever." Braden for a voice actor? Yet here we are in the age of most magnificent machines burnt out. Hear ye, hear ye. Are we now at a moment where our forever foolishness ends? Stay tuned. It may not be that the 4-day work week revolutionizes our minds as much as it might revolutionize our schedules. It'll take more than a shift in logging on and logging off times to truly disconnect ourselves from the impetus to work ever more, including what Adele calls the work of self-optimization, or from the view that leisure's purpose is to recuperate or distract from work. But it is, perhaps, another stone on the road to the fabled promised lands of work-life balance, to a place, in short, where we might see our time as ours. Okay. Yeah, like I said earlier, I connect with this as like a entrepreneur and founder. This is like a similar battle of like balance and guilt. Especially like when I was running for office last year, and or there's like often events throughout the weekends in certain times of year, like a lot more. And so it breaks down the like the usual what you grow up learning to balance as like Monday to Friday, you're doing a little bit more. But I guess as a kid there's a lot less stress too if you're in a decent situation. So, I don't know. I am down. I think it's I I think I'm down for a society that more chill, and I mean, not only are people more happy, able to rest longer, they're going to deal with less burnout, more be present for like family, and I think like some of those books suggested that like it doesn't really eat into what we're able to accomplish together still. If that is like the last thing you're holding on to, um, and then even then it's like question of like, do we really need to be constantly growing, ever never ending? Okay, on to the next one. Thank you. Oh, this was, I'm gonna bookmark this. In praise of idleness. I'm gonna read that on my own time, and I'll let you know. Okay. Americans are obsessed with tidying up. This is another Time article. But there's a downside to being organized. I did read this one. I think the conclusion is that you can overemphasize clean to the point where you're avoiding like a higher priority task, and that putting being organized in 100% things away um isn't that actually like it can be like really good for some environments and people, but overall it doesn't actually like mean that much in itself. And then it goes on to explain that like Einstein notoriously had like a very busy desk. Um, so like in many ways, lack of organization neatness has come to seem inherently bad, but is it so? Um, Orderly spaces promote healthy choices, but also conventional thinking. So a trade-off. Um, One 2013 study, and I kind of just skipped over the cultural references to Kondo and some of the tidying up movements that are out there, and the increasing like push for like optimization um, and organization. Um, so a 2013 study found that orderly spaces promote healthy choices, but also conventional thinking, while working in a messy or disorganized space promotes creativity and new ideas. Einstein famously had a disheveled desk and was quoted as saying, "If a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, of what then is an empty desk a sign of?" Get ratioed, get dunked on. Go Einstein. Um, Another study linked physical clutter to lower levels of life satisfaction, but one of the authors of that study says that clutter seems to be a symptom of other problems, namely procrastination and rampant consumerism, rather than a problem in and of itself. In the society of abundance we live in, I think the idea that we have to have more makes us less satisfied with life, says Joseph Ferrari, co-author of the study and professor of psychology at DePaul University in Chicago. It isn't abundance that's the problem as much as attachment to abundance. Um, Other psychologists say that the drive to organize can be a sign of underlying mental angst or unrest. During times of uncertainty, people usually search for activities that may help them control this uncertainty. Um, one of Lang's study linked anxiety to the performance of repetitive ritualistic behaviors, and he says that cleaning up and organizing certainly qualifies. Pretty well established that levels of chronic stress are rising, so you can draw this parallel that when people generally are more stressed from work or life, ordering things around them is a response. And the response can be helpful. When things in our life feel out of control, I think tidying up can be psychologically reinforcing, controlling something that you do have power over, that you can control. Um, when there's a lot going on, can be very helpful. If you can exert some control over your inbox or your own space, there are some things you can attend to and feel good about. It has a good ending, so people feel a sense of control. In more and more professions, there's no feeling of closure or completion at the end of the day. So getting your inbox to zero at quitting time may be one way to achieve this. But there's a downside. Newman says spending inordinate amounts of time and energy on organization is a problem. It can become pathological when it's interfering with your ability to focus or function, or it's overly distressing, she explains. Technology may also be contributing to America's keenness for organization. We now live the bulk of our lives in digital spaces, and those spaces are every day becoming more compelling and chaotic and dysregulating. There's the source. The complexity and disorder of life only encourages. I don't know what I'm doing with my hand here. I'm processing. But then you find when your room or your inbox is organized, your world hasn't stopped being complex. At this point, many people decide even more organizing is needed, but this can lead to compulsive tidying and inevitably a sense of failure when you just can't keep things as neat as you like them. The more of a mess our internal world becomes, the more likely we are to grab onto something that gives us a sense of peace or internal shiny answer. Okay, so yeah, I did a good job of covering from what I remembered. There's that Time article by Markham Heed. All right. These next two are going to be more of introductions and shares. I haven't jumped into either of these yet, but these are probably like some of the coolest things I found this last month. This is a site called 80,000hours.org. And your biggest opportunity to make a difference, our guide to it makes for a high impact career. So let's go to their About page. You have about 80,000 working hours in your career, 40 years times 50 weeks times 40 hours. Maybe reading one of those, that 4-day work week, it goes down a little bit because we're only working 32 hours. Yay. That's still interesting to see it categorized like that. Yeah, I mean, numbers adds up. If you want to have a positive impact with your life, your choice of career is probably your best opportunity to do that. That means it's worth thinking hard about how to use this time most effectively. If you can make your career 1% higher impact, whatever that means to you, it would in theory be worth spending up to 800 hours working out how. We aim to help you out. You can best use your 80,000 hours to help others and take action on that basis. We believe you can increase your impact by more than 1%, and it'll take a lot less than 800 hours. And they provide research and support to help students and recent graduates switch into careers that effectively tackle the world's most pressing problems. So, there's a number of guides, a podcast, job board, one-on-one advice that they offer, and if I go back to where I started, so I saw this page and I was like, this is really cool. I want to check this out more. And this is just like a well put together tutorial and guide on like why it's important to find an impact career. Why is it good for you? Why is it good for like well-being and some of the other perks that comes down to being aligned, your foundation and your work and your community kind of doing good. And then it also talks about like some of the most pressing problems that the world is dealing with, because then you have to go from the conclusion of, oh, I do want to have a positive impact career, to doing what though, because there's many different ways you can do that, and often you want something that, yeah, you're super passionate about. It could be the ocean and coral reefs. It could be entertaining, bringing entertainment to certain communities. There are a number of things you can do that combine art with impact. And by learning about some of the world's pressing problems, you can start to figure out what that might look like for you. What else? What career paths give you the best opportunities to tackle global problems? And so it really breaks down, like, you go through this working your current day job, working in a service field, and not to say that there's like, you can't give back in some of those career fields by like bringing in like fundraisers or other types of things to it. But by exploring this, you can really kind of get the bigger picture, and then that might awake some new interests for you. And then this site can help you find career paths in those different areas. And there are a number of different companies out there that post jobs and opportunities out here. So there you go. So that's more on like the career, figuring out your future side. And when it comes to like getting things done, this I've seen a lot of their content on YouTube because I'm on YouTube a lot, both for work and just watching things. And so Healthy Gamer GG with Dr. K shows up and has a bunch of free content on his YouTube, and breaking down things from anxiety to overwhelm, depression, motivation, and as a doctor explaining a lot of these things, and also as with a gamer background, I think is doing an important job of like bringing some of those concepts in, to help teach in these complex things happening in our brains and bodies, and bringing a nice perspective to it. And one of the things that he has and his company has are these different guides. So I wanted to share that. I think I'm going to do one or two of these. I'm interested in the meditation one. I'm interested in the ADHD and doing stuff one. And I wouldn't mind learning more about anxiety and depression. I deal with it some, but it's never, or hasn't lately been like truly like crippling or really bad. But I think knowing about those is helpful. And I like how it's built out, like branching paths. And I think it's a cool way he set up his course. And it's actually this. Oh, I scrolled up already. It's actually a YouTube video that he like runs it down.
All right, things to my patients or other people who come in and say I'm depressed will often have these 5 kind of psychological complexes called samskars. So people will say, "Oh, I've fallen behind," and if you guys were paying attention at the beginning of stream, look at that. So
yeah, check out that video. And it's something that I might be bringing more of to in the content. And those are my articles. How are we doing? That was about 50 minutes covering them. It got toasty in this room. I'm going to turn my fan on because it got toasty. We're going to take a quick break. We're at that part of the program. We covered mental health articles. The Dr. K's. I've been watching probably since mid-May. He was doing a lot for Mental Health Awareness Month. He was interviewing different social influencers, different celebrity types, putting out a plethora of videos around those different topics. Probably getting hundreds of thousands of views depending on the video. Shorts were showing up on my feeds a lot, at least. And I actually found some
so
of.
It seems to me like more and more people are starting to try to.
What I learned is actually like it's already had an impact on me, and so I wanted to share a little bit more there on the stream today. And I don't think I have it on my community page. And I love this skill tree idea around mental health, and I wonder if like I can build a series of posts and like but on our media database we added Healthy Gamer GG. We have a few different things in the ADHD space. So yeah, there we go. Alright, break. I don't have a break overlay. Let's make one really quick. On break overlay. Do they have one I can just take? No. We're gonna use. I mean, if I'm not in my chair, you'll just know. I mean, I have it on my agenda. So if I go back here, and I go here, and I go yada yada, we're on break. Okay. So we'll be right back. I'll leave the camera chilling, and we'll BRB. Cool. I don't think anyone's tuned in. This is mostly for those watching later and myself. Mostly a little both. It's mostly for both. I need to work on like announcements and like I think consistency. I think people like that for like streams, and then like since the platform won't promote it automatically, I need to like make sure I push it out. I don't know if I have that. I guess it would depend on like certain streams. Like these articles were mid. They were like helpful and cool. And I do like some of the things I shared. Oh, camera. Camera needs a second to cool down. Okay, that works best. I'll turn it back on when I get back. I'm going to unplug it for a sec so it's... Alright, BRB. Alright, we bought. Let me turn the fan off. You can like barely hear it though, right? Who am I talking to? Myself later. I don't think I need it. Okay, we're back. We're back from our break. Interesting that the preview. Oh, it's just my preview is behind. Okay. Yeah, let me check my volume from earlier. So that seemingly simple factor can change data a fair bit. So if you do the data at night versus morning. Oh, what am I volume at? Okay, I can move my microphone closer. Even when it comes to OC preferences, interesting. That's not is getting bad and already affects families. Okay, it's pretty good though. Modi bounce. Let's not praise luck. Like you said, he could have waited months. And I'm gonna help cover that on Sunday, June 11th, 2:30 to 4:30. It'll be live streamed online. Here on our YouTube channel will be the major place where we will have. I need to pause that. I need to turn my camera back on. I gotta plug it in. Okay, so that was going over 5 different mental health articles. I am back from break. So we're gonna do some design work. Let me turn my camera back on. Because, hello there. It's June. And what other things go on in June? Well, one of the things is Pride. And here I am. I'm in a dress. Hello there. And yeah, so we caught up. We caught up with May. We're a few days into June. I don't normally present this way, but it's a part of me. And I love this pink hair. And I'm in a dress. And we're chilling. And some of the design work we're gonna do, so we can change the agenda or I thought that would just be a funny reveal that I've caught up and because I've never really I've presented this like this in public 5 times, 7 maybe, with friends some though, and I think I'm adorable. And I like the feminine energy, and I think in this space and whatnot, I'm comfortable. More so now maybe than in the past, but I've had time to explore, and I don't mind how I look. So we're chilling. I still use Brayden. I use any pronouns most of the time. That part never like tripped me up as much. I guess sometimes depending on the community and how I'm presenting, like it's tripped me up because sometimes I don't know what to say. But okay, we're on to the next thing. So hi. Uh, I normally do what I do or go by is like Ray, Braden. I still, it's whatever. Um, and this dress is recent. And I only have like, oh, it's lagging. Why is it lagging? Um, hmm. Kilobytes per second? Okay. Maybe it's the big camera? I don't know. I don't know why it lagged, but it was during my twirl, so that upsets me. We'll do another twirl. Okay. I twirled too hard. Okay. Uh, okay. We're just gonna do this. I want to make a logo. I've been wanting to rework my logo, and it's Pride Month, and though it's kind of like cliche, kind of like I don't when it's certain like corporate capitalistic things, it can get weird and wonky when like all the different companies change their like logo colors for the month. But I want to play around with the community driven logo and doing it. Um, I would normally, if I had chat and comments, I would take chat and comments. But we're working towards that and regular streams. So I don't know necessarily what to say. I can say whatever my heart wants. I was looking for my logo document. Let me do this for a moment. Um, okay. And then let's see if Canva has any like pride. Uh, I want like mix of rainbow plus trans flag. Um, I didn't connect with that word as much, and like had blocks with that word up until like a year and a half ago, and it was just like mainly mental, internal, like figuring things out. But I love that flag, and and that was mostly like an internal conflict thing. Um, but love the flag and love supporting and think that yeah, we should just all be accepting and that it's fun. People are different, but people that's a good thing, and people can love who they want to love. Uh, so something like okay, here we go. So dong dong. I probably want the words plus the boat. Um, and let's get rid of this for the moment. Words plus the boat. How do I make this different rainbow colors? Can I do gradients? Surely gradients, no? Hmm. rainbowify. Let's see. Vision simulator. I probably can't do this here either. I need gradients. Let's see. I got new makeup recently. It was really just a sample. I've only probably used makeup as well like 6 times. Okay, abundance class. I don't know what that means. New file. This should be a logo. Web. Let's just do. I can change the shape later. I want like a square. That's close to a square. Okay. So if I download the logo, I can trace it. And then I can break it up into its individual parts or joint parts and then give them rainbows. Okay, share, download page 5, transparent background. And then it gets really, oh, you can't really tell on camera. That's nice. It's like very like wiry and all over the place sometimes. And then bandanas can help. It was doing fine though. Okay. Import. File place. Downloads. Huzzah. Image trace. No image trace. 6 color. Okay. Ungroup. You should make it too. Isn't this supposed to have a transparent background, my dude? I'll copy paste one more time. And I want to one color? Shades of gray? No. What's a logo? Expand. High fidelity photo. One color. Alright, it still draws lines in between. Okay. Fill. What do we got? Recolor? Can I do gradients? I need to get to gradients. But how do you do a rainbow gradient? Interesting. Pink to blue to rainbow? Is that possible? Like white? Huh. Pink to red to yellow to Roy G. Biff skip over to blue and then indigo violet. Switch over to perps. Okay. Now apply. Do I save it? Do I paint bucket it? Drag and drop. Drag and drop. Okay, it just kind of looks like neon-y and techno-y. But how do I do that to... So if I have this all one color, make it all purple right now. And then see if they do rainbow text. Their graphics. Some Soom? I'm missing a letter there. Frames? Okay. Let's make it all purple. And then we go download transparent. Download. And then we go back here. Okay. Import file artboard. Artboard. Okay. Okay. I wonder if there's a different way I should be bringing in documents. I haven't used Illustrator in like 2 years. cyan purple, alright. Okay, it opened up in a different dock. That's fine. Maybe. Unembed crop mask. Image trace. Clean. Bring it here. Okay. Where'd my super color go? Can I save this color? Cool. Huzzah. 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 Okay. What about the letters, though? Ungroup. LOL. The D's filled in. And the E's filled in. Huh. The I just is weird. Oh yeah, and then we go huzzah. Let's give it a stroke. What color is a very grounding? I like pink. Can we give it pink? And 4-point font. I gotta get rid of this. What about more of like a neutral, or like help outline it? You gotta be eligible to, or legible. That's the word I'm looking for. But maybe not black. Maybe like a brown. And then you put it on like a. Let's go save this. One PNG coming right up. This is, and I could probably, let's do CD, Pride logo 1, and we'll export it. Dope. And then I want to try this. Oh, you can just put it in downloads. There. I want to try blue, white, blue, pink, white, and green, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. We can kind of skip over orange a little maybe, and let me add it in there, see what it looks like. It like already knows it's gonna be told to be orange. Okay, orange, and then indigo. That's kind of indigo in the middle there anyways. Dope. I like that one too. It looks a little wonkier on the letters, but we can try these letters. I think that's fine. I might need to up the stroke one. Okay, we'll save this one too. Collect for export as single asset. CD right logo too. And then we will export that one. Okay. Oh, you can see one of my hairs is just like chilling. Okay, we're almost there. Cool beans. Canva. Bring it back. Duplicate. Uploads. Upload files. This one. Let's go. I'm looking to see if I have Pride photos in here. I went 2019, I think. The last time I went, maybe I went in 2021. I think I went in 2021. I just don't have as many. I got a lot of pictures in 2019. What if it's just... take out this part? Work in progress. It's a work in progress. Okay. I'm running out of creative juices. Is there any last things I want to try? I'm gonna have to work on it. I'm not gonna rush into it. I don't wanna... This was a fun experiment because I've never like done that before. Try to make your logo in alignment with something. But yeah, I had that as part of like, fun creative project to work on. Yes, still work in progress. But yeah, I don't want to be showing up as late to things. So I'm here, I'm queer, and we're getting near the end. Any last bits I want to share? Um, Please be kind. Um, Future viewers and this being out there. Um, that's a general good rule, but it takes a lot of energy to like shake off like biases and like judgments and like top behaviors and try to listen to your like authentic self and what that wants to be. And um, for me, um, felt drawn to like different forms of like gender expression and playing around in that space, um, which yeah, that is wasn't something that maybe I thought about or cared about as much in the past, but as an evolution of myself and how I want to be like in society is something that I'm like learning about and growing into. Um, I wasn't like completely hiding anything and like don't owe anyone like an official like presentation or like discussion of like what I am or how I feel. Um, and like coming out of the closet just as like as a concept, like that you owe it to someone else to like put on the record who you are at any like at a given moment. Um, and then like I feel like that ignores how much of this can like potentially change. Um, there's like an aspect of it which like what are you comfortable sharing out in society, um, which is a part I sometimes like struggle with, and um, like try to manage just because we need to go along a lot further um, into like security and like understanding and like not being triggered as much to like get to a point that you might cause like violence or harm. Um, but like part of it just like as simple as like I like different hairstyles and clothing styles and like feminine energy, and I feel like there's a dialogue between in myself of wanting to express different parts of like that side as well as like the masculine side, um, and feels like just I'm only like 30, but I feel like I've suppressed like exploration and like gung ho ness in my like true self for like way too long, and like it's been a balance, but maybe I like there I definitely see things within myself where I um am caring more or like too much about what others think, um and have these like automatic but like learned at some point behaviors that cause limiting beliefs, and I want to live more in abundant beliefs and like powerful abundant magnetism and being able to bring together cool projects um, and sometimes want to twirl around in dresses. Yay, yay. Um, okay, well, happy Pride Month, and I know my streams right now are pretty like sporadic. I'm figuring out the organizational loop between recording something and editing out pieces to grow and put like an audience and um, understand how to get down to those like bite-sized chunks, which help you then have the longer discussions um, when you can like get that time on schedule and bring people together. So it's all part of like a journey in figuring out like the growing a brand in business. Um, but we have an upcoming stream around the environment. Um, Working on content. There's just some personal stuff I'm going to be making here soon. And thank you for watching. Thanks for all the loves. I put a lot of love into it, and it's for the greater good. Putting myself out there more and tuning into my like authentic creative voice and expression. Um, and yeah, looking for where that takes us. So I'm out. Thank you for watching.